Depending on how this review goes, I know people will look at me by the end of this video and look at what I have in front of me, and people will question why I have a Blu-ray version of this movie. People, I was a kid. Plus, also, I have tons of movies that would be considered decent. Okay, nothing special, nothing big. I just had them because I was a kid, thought they were awesome when I was young, and I realized years later, not all that amazing, but hey, I own them. Who cares? That's just how life was for me, okay?
That this is our land.
Avatar is directed and written by James Cameron. The film stars Sam Worthington, Zoe Saldaña, Stephen Lang, Michelle Rodriguez, and Sigourney Weaver. According to IMDb's plot synopsis, a paraplegic marine dispatched to the moon Pandora on a unique mission becomes torn between following his orders and protecting the world he feels is his home. James Cameron is well known for making some of the most massive and explosive films in recent decades. This is a man that has built his career off of just making films that are truly innovative but also really exciting to watch. The man that directed a sci-fi sequel that rivals or surpasses the original in the form of Aliens. A lot of Alien fans are usually torn between which is better, the first or the second one. To another science fiction series centered on machines in the form of the Terminator series. Regardless on how people feel about that franchise, you cannot deny the first two Terminator movies are some of the most thrilling and exciting films to watch, especially the sequel, and a love tragedy on a boat in the form of Titanic. But for many years, Cameron has been always wanting to make this particular film for a very long time. This was a project going back to the mid to late 90s. So he's had this idea in store for a very long time. Cameron has a knack for making these big films. That's his whole MO. He's always wanted to make big spectacles that people can go out and see and always enjoy and love watching. When it comes to this film, at one point, I'll say this, I didn't mind the series, okay? Avatar is just a franchise that, is still young, even though it's been around for decades, but it's still a young franchise that I don't mind, and I actually wasn't hating it when I saw it in the theater when I was 8 years old. Years later, I've started to grow to not be a fan of this series. The more people talk about it, the more the internet also gallivates about it, the more I'm like, you know what? Not crazy about this movie. And I remember rewatching it in preparation for The Way of Water, and I still wasn't crazy about it. So upon rewatching it again, I found this to be okay at best. Not terrible, it's not awful. I will not deny the positive aspects of this movie, which I will get to, but I'm also not going to sit here and say that this is the greatest movie ever made, alright? It's not. I feel like it's just very much regurgitated as just what that is because a lot of people on the internet just want to seem super smart, or rather, people generally love it, and if they do, that's fine. I just think that there are some people out there who truly say this just because they just want to rub the idea that, yeah, well, look at how movies are today, and it's like, okay, but you're also acting like this movie's super duper special too, so I don't know what you're talking about. Before discussing my problems, my criticisms with this film, here are the positives. The direction is stellar. Director James Cameron shows his vision in both scope and scale that you would be in awe of, and it's fleshing out the world of Pandora that you honestly could never imagine to this day how a film is able to capture how their vision is displayed. And it really seems that Cameron wanted the world of Pandora to feel as lively as it can. He really seemed like he had a lot of love and passion when it came to the world building and the look of the film. A lot of that shows how much Cameron was willing to go with regards to pushing barrier with regards to visual effects in filmmaking. I think that is something that, I am always welcome to. I always appreciate filmmakers that do try to do that, although I do have my gripe with that in a little bit. But I'm just saying, I do see Cameron's vision of wanting to make a film that feels so real but effective with regards to how the effects come off. And for that, he does an amazing job with capturing this spectacle for what it is. The visuals are dazzling. All the effects are stunning and beautiful to see. Even after 16 years, they still look amazing. It's incredible to think that 16 years have gone by, and yet, even now, it still looks amazing. You can really see how much Cameron wanted the visual effects artist to really put a lot of effort into the look of the Na'vi and the world, and it really seems like it was a long process. It seemed like it took years. What we got was no doubt a visually delightful film that showcases Pandora in a way where not a lot of movies, even at the time, weren't showcasing on this display. And it's pretty awesome to see how much technology has come. Technology has far and away advanced with what we can do with it. Cinematography is breathtaking. Cinematographer Muro Firo shoots a jaw-dropping and lively film that captures Cameron's vision, leading to remarkable shots. How this movie is displayed, of course, it is all shot in IMAX. It looks incredible. It's insane to me on how much they are able to capture all of this scope and able to still make it feel amazing to this day. It's really hard to describe how he was able to capture all of this for what the time was. Because even though filmmakers at the time were doing this kind of stuff, it's just crazy to me on how much this is the only movie in my mind that I think of when it comes to actually capturing the scope and the world building of Pandora. The world itself looks amazing. It looks gorgeous, especially in nighttime. It looks beautiful, and it is all thanks to Firo's cinematography that it really is able to display how much Pandora does feel lively in both day and nighttime. The music is incredible. Composer James Horner creates an epic and earthly score that livens Pandora, making it all feel fantastic. Unfortunately, James Horner passed away in 2015, which is a tragic loss. His music lives on, and this music, say what you will, I give a lot of effort to a composer. If they understand a director's vision, they will deliver it, and James Horner, he did that. He managed to create a score that does feel very earthly, very much of the land and of the spirit of it. And I think it is cool to see a composer really craft it in a way that feels very fluent and very lively in that way, that it is amazing to even hear after all these years. I think it is still a really good score. The production is amazing. From the props, sets, and crew work, it shows the hard work throughout, letting the work speak for itself. And for a film of this nature, it's pretty impressive on how they are able to pull all of this off, because this movie could easily have fallen apart or have really missed in a couple of key areas, and yet somehow they are able to be locked solid and tight on this movie, that it was able to accomplish something with regards to visual effects and the way in which movies can be shown of this scale. The action is exciting. Every action sequence has energy and focus when it happens, feeling cinematic when it goes down. There are a lot of moments where it showcases action pieces that are pretty amazing and are still to this day always used in memorable moments in cinematic history that I cannot deny. I agree. I think there is a lot of it in there that shows how much that the action does speak for how much the visual effects, as well as the way in which Cameron is able to heighten the suspense of a scene. I think he does that really well. That said, it's not one of the best films ever made, as some people on the internet or in real life would say. And I'm not saying that nobody can't love it. I'm not saying anybody can't be a fan of it. I'm just saying I just feel like it's just one of those movies that gets exaggerated, saying like, well, this is the greatest movie ever made, or one of the best. And I guess you can, but realistically, I still think this is a movie that has some problems that I feel like people don't really address. So here are now the negatives. The story is generic. Following this man from soldier to native was bland and an average plot. Some decent moments, but an overall stale story. This is a film that centers on a Marine for the humans to just being a native of the Na'vi and essentially taking over this entire group or being beloved by them. Now, I know so many people will stop me and say, well, Zach, you love the Doom movies. How come you have a problem with this movie talking about how a white guy who really goes in blueface takes over this entire group of natives and be their leader, but yet Doom movies are fine? Well, here's the thing. The recent Doom movies actually have criticized and have explored that idea of how a outsider becomes a leader or somebody that is a symbol to a minority group I do think that that is something to always address. But with this movie in particular, it just feels like they accepted him way too quick, and it just seems that the movie just never really like further developed these characters in a way that is interesting. Honestly, to me, this is a story that you could have just put in any scenario and it would be fine. But there's just nothing exciting about it. Like, if you have visual effects that are up here, you want to meet a little bit low, but like somewhere close to those high measures. And the fact that you're like here, that's just disappointing to me. That's just really sad to see because, of course, James Cameron can know how to make a entertaining story, and yet somehow you gave me this. Why? I feel like you could do better with that. The pacing runtime is exhausting. Scenes would go on for far too long, which leads to it going so slow. With a runtime of 2 hours and 42 minutes, it doesn't deserve that length. Why is this near 3 hours? This is my biggest pet peeve with this movie. It has no right to be 3 hours. Sure, there are some really good aspects of this movie, but I am not going to sit here and act like, well, was it worth 3 hours? No, that's bullshit, okay? I don't believe that this movie should have never been 3 hours. I think they could have gotten away with almost being 2 hours. The fact that they are able to stretch this shit out for as long as it is just stupid and is ridiculous. But then again, James Cameron, he's got something that a lot of people will love, and he feels like, well, I got to extend it and make it much more lengthy. No. After watching this, hell no. That is not a good length, sir. You need to trim this shit down because there are moments in this movie where I'm like, you could have cut this, and all of this out. Because honestly, it feels like filler, or you are just trying to really pad this movie out for as long as you want it to be. The writing is lackluster. Cameron pens a script that's subpar and standard for a film of this scope. Also, the pointless narration and heavy exposition doesn't help either. The narration by Sam Worthington is very annoying because half the movie I understand, I really do what they're trying to do with this movie and they explain why he's doing it, but at the same time it gets to a point of, can we just like not have this? Because I just feel like this is just more of the character explaining stuff to me rather than me feeling that in the scenes that they're in. And the exposition explaining stuff to it is so heavy in this movie. People, there's a moment that Karen talks about unobtainium, and you don't even see that thing hardly ever in the movie. You just see one goddamn mineral of this shit, and that is all you know. And by the way, unobtainium, yeah, that's used and coined as a science fiction term, okay? I'm not joking. In science fiction movies, books, video games, TV shows, you name it, unobtainium has found its way into some forms of media in science fiction, okay? It is literally a term used as something that is unobtainable, okay? Unobtainium, henceforth the name. And the fact that Cameron used that as like what the mineral name is called, that's just lazy. That's just showcasing how much that you have to dumb this down and make it stupid in terms of trying to explain it to us. And it just feels kind of insulting. And it just shows that people, this is why I say this movie ain't so high and mighty, because if you're using terms like unobtainium to explain stuff to people and having to give all this background exposition heavy scenes, that's just bullshit. Okay? Stop. That is so ridiculously dumb and is kind of insulting if you think about it. The performances are underwhelming. While Zoe Saldana is great as Neytiri, out of all the cast, I think she's the one that stands out the most, especially since she is all fully in mocap, having to do a lot of expressions and also having that accent for the film. I think she is definitely the one that stands out, but everyone else just kind of feels pulled back or just decent at best. Stephen Lane, he's enjoyable, but he doesn't give off the vibes as, oh man, I'm gonna remember him. Man, he was so good as what's this guy's name? Colonel Corch? Oh, that's his name. What kind of fucking stupid ass name is that? But either way, he's fine. But I do think that could he have gone a little bit more into it, leaning into that military role, much more heavy than just trying to be super stoic at it? Yeah, and Sigourney Weaver. I mean, when you have an actress who was in one of Cameron's movies and was nominated for Best Actress, and all she can do is just kind of be herself in a way, or just be kind of a light Ripley, it's not working that well. And for that, I just feel like she could have been given more to do or been given a chance to, I don't know, have much more emotions than just being stone-faced the entire time. Michelle Rodriguez, I mean, I guess gets something to do, but really, there's not much to her. Also, Sam Worthington, he's so bland in this movie. I'm sorry. I don't want to be rude about this man. I really don't. I get it, he's the main character, and he has given what Cameron has given him, but I gotta be honest, Jake Sully is probably the most boring protagonist I've ever seen in a movie. Like, boring, bland. He might as well be the generic default one character you get from a video game. Like, that's how much boring this character is and why I do not find him interesting at all. Everything is there to make something special, but these problems hold it back from being so much better. That's the frustrating part. There's something here that can work and can be so amazing, but it is held back because of how much James Cameron, in my mind, just gets so egotistical in some of the choices that he makes with the writing and the pacing and runtime. It's just so annoying. No doubt, the visuals are the star of this film, and they are truly magnificent. I will never deny that. I will never bash this movie for that because, of course, after 16 years, it still looks gorgeous. But beyond that, it's just okay. Okay at best. There's nothing I would consider anything amazing or spectacular outside of the visual effects that would say like this movie warrants being like remembered as one of the best movies ever made. Visually, yes. Production, maybe. Cinematography, sure. Music, absolutely. Story, no. Writing, absolutely not. How much this movie's near 3 hours? No, not worth it. And while I respect a lot of people that worked hard on this movie, and I understand this is Cameron wanting to make the movie he wants to make, I just feel like that side of him where he can be a little bit full of himself just takes over and just to me ruins what I think could have been an actual win because I love science fiction. I should love this movie. The fact that I just don't and I think it's okay at best is not something I want to say, especially since Cameron has made some really truly terrific science fiction movies himself in the Terminator movies. I guess that's what you get when you get to a point in your life where you're like, well, you know what? I think the visuals should be more important than the story. And I just don't like that very much. I'm going to give Avatar a 6 out of 10. It's decent. It's fine for what it is. It's not going to harm anyone, but I will sit here and say that I think most people are just always going to remember this movie as being visually dazzling. I don't think nobody's going to remember the story or the characters. Because if somebody were to tell me, oh, I remember all of them, this movie definitely beats out movies today. Okay, name me one character. Name me one from that movie that you would say that character was awesome. That character was amazing. I could tell you probably aren't. Or if you can tell me an amazing story element in this movie, I'd be surprised because this story to me is just so derivative of so many other things that I just don't find anything really fascinating about this film. So I will be soon reviewing Avatar: The Way of Water soon. So yes, look forward to that review and other reviews coming soon.